My name is Ulinka Rublack. I am at Cambridge University and I'm the editor of the Oxford Concise Companion to History. A very, very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for coming along. And thank you to the British Academy, History Today and Oxford University Press for supporting this event. Historians, the great philosopher Ernst Cassirer put it so well, are discoverers and interpreters of the past. And two of the questions I think we're asking today is how can we keep on discovering and interpreting the past in original and meaningful ways? And is there a deepening dilemma about teaching history in the 21st century? As the discipline proliferated in the 20th century, there seemed for many to open up that spectre of a frightening fragmentation of knowledge and approaches. This led the late Eric Hobsbawm to wonder already in the 1990s whether historical journals looked like more than antique supermarkets. And it led one politician concerned with reviewing the curriculum to the frightful vision that the teaching of the past in British schools seemed nothing different than a yo sushi restaurant experience, where little bits of the past seem to come by, but without any means to really see how they connected up to a meal. Then followed the greater awareness of global interconnection and the need to trace the history of divergences and convergences across the globe, the need for the awareness of the transnational problems that face us so enduringly, the environmental problems, the enduring problems of gender equality, for instance, migration, and all this seemed to prompt the need to also think about transnational pasts. The need then to think bigger yet, but also to constantly question the terms and appropriateness of any comparison. The African historian Megan Vaughan recently writes, "Africa was a vast and varied continent," and perhaps the most extraordinary point about this statement is that it needed to be made at all. Apparently, we do need to be reminded that Africa is a vast and varied continent. When David Cannadine in 2002 still worried that historians were becoming a bunch of people who knew more and more about less and less because they were so over-specialized, it might appear now that global history forces historians to know less and less about more and more. Our current interests thus make for fascinating challenges for how historians can meaningfully work and teach together, and force us to revisit the urgent questions of how and why history matters to whom. And how, as we're painfully aware in the UK, institutional frameworks constrain our ideas and practices as historians. I'm very honored to discuss these questions today with a very distinguished panel of speakers. There's Professor Maxine Burke from the University of Warwick, Professor Sir John Elliott from Oxford University, Professor Michael Bentley from the University of St Andrews, and Professor Christopher Clark from Cambridge University. I shall first be in conversation with each of our panelists in turn, and then there will be a general question which I would like the panelists to discuss with each other, and then there will be at least half an hour of a discussion with you as audience, and I would really invite you to feel free to then also take the discussion into any new directions you feel are good to take it to.